You open your eyes. Everything seems exactly as it should be. The ceiling is the same ceiling. The light strikes your eyes at the same angle. A bird sings outside. The coffee machine ticks inside. Nothing feels different from yesterday, yet something unsettles you. An undefinable sensation. As if this scene has been played before. The same words, the same objects, the same shadows. But slightly more polished, slightly too perfect. A whisper inside your head asks, "Is this real?" This is the beginning of a thought experiment. If nothing is absolute, what does it mean to know something? Let's ask this question together. But this time, without hiding behind cliches of virtual reality, dreams, or simulation theories. We will look instead at the brain itself, at the tricks of the mind, and at the fragments of forgotten thoughts. Because what we are about to explore isn't offered by your senses, it is built beyond them. What you call seeing is not pure vision. What you call hearing is not raw sound. What you call touch is not direct contact. They are patterns of electrical signals, predictions echoing inside your brain. You label them reality. But why? Why insist on a world outside the mind? Why feel uneasy when someone questions it? Because our nervous system is wired to treat reality as unquestionable. Otherwise, the system itself might collapse. Today, we will poke at that system. Modern neuroscience is clear. The brain does not passively record the outside world. It constantly generates predictions and compares them to incoming sensory signals, a process known as predictive coding. In 2020, a study in Nature Communications showed that brief visual patterns could trigger neural activity in visual areas even before the stimulus reappeared. In other words, the brain's expectations were already waiting. This is not limited to vision. All senses, sound, smell, touch, are shaped not just by incoming data, but by what the brain expects. This explains why different people react differently to the same event. Placebo effects illustrate this too. Believing a fake treatment can sometimes create real changes. We experience only the model our minds construct. Modern illusions like the hollow mask effect support this idea. Even when we know a face is concave, our brains still perceive it as convex. Evolution did not design us to see reality as it is, but to see what is useful for survival. Reality is not a map of nature. It is a survival interface. Language shapes this too. The Himba people of Namibia categorize colors differently from Western languages. Without separate words for blue and green, they find it harder to tell those shades apart, but they easily spot subtle differences in greens Westerners miss. What we can name influences what we can perceive. Every experiment is a question asked to nature, framed by human choices. In laboratories, we stabilize temperatures, set light wavelengths, filter noise, and ignore variables we can't control. But what if the noise we discard is part of reality itself? Astrophysicist Arthur Eddington once said, "When we study nature, we are really studying the instruments we use to look at nature." So, does reality exist? Or is it only interpretations layered over sensations? Friedrich Nietzsche took a radical view. There are no facts, only interpretations. Perhaps we desire reality because it gives us comfort, a sense of ground under our feet. But what if that ground was never there? Maybe the real question is not what reality is, but why we need it so badly.